and let them stew for about an hour and a half until they're falling off the bone. Then I retrieve all the bones and the skin and put the chicken back in the broth and then roll my dumplings and drop it in that simmering broth. Oh, so good. You know what else is good? A big old summer mater and a great big grand, are we calling this one the Big League tomato, and this is called the Big League Patio tomato, I believe. And you're also getting Emerald Tower basil. Now, as soon as we figure out how to make seeds for mozzarella cheese, we'll have everything we need for a caprese. But in the meantime, you'll buy the cheese. We'll help you out with the rest. And this is from our friends at Roberta's. Now, it's our only quantities of the season. We brought in 21,000 for the season. I have about 5,300 remaining, and here is what you're getting. 6 total pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4 tomato plants. These are what are called Big Lead patio tomatoes. And you're going to get 3, wait, is it 4 tomato and 2 basil? According to this, it looks like that. Yeah. Okay, is that correct? Okay, so 4 tomato and 2 basil. And this is the Emerald Tower basil. 5 easy payments, free shipping and handling. This breaks down to less than $4 per plant. Are these recommended for containers? Yes, they are. So if you don't have a lot of room, you're still in really good shape with this. It's $22.12. We will not ship this to you until it's safe to plant in your area, but here's a little news flash. It's beginning to be safe in a lot of areas, and the ones where it's still a little cold, it won't be long before this arrives. So you're going to be planting these and getting tomatoes and basil this summer. Let's invite in one of the Wallin family members. Devin is joining us live via telephone. Devin, how are you today, buddy?
I'm excellent, David. How you doing?
Doing great. I hope everyone at your house is well.
We are very well, getting ready to start enjoying our gardens a little bit more, especially with these tomatoes and basil plants, because we love the homegrown tomatoes. I know you do too.
I do indeed. I mean, this is the taste of summertime. And when you're talking about these great big league tomatoes, you're talking juicy and tender and just perfect.
Yeah, and you said it awesome. You know, this is a tomato that anyone can grow in a container, on your porch, on your patio, on your balcony, on your front stoop. And, you know, our friends over at Ball Seeds, they didn't create the little league tomatoes. They created the big league tomatoes, and they absolutely knocked this one out of the park, because these are tomatoes that will be harvestable. You will be eating these tomatoes in about 40 days from the day that you plant them. And the tomatoes are huge. They're like 14 to 16 ounces. That's like a pound of a tomato per tomato.
And is there anything better than going out and pinching a little fresh basil off your own plant to make your fresh pesto? If you're doing a beautiful, a chicken pesto pasta with some fresh Parmesan cheese.
I was also watching those the fried dough a little bit ago, having a nice side salad of a tomato and basil caprese salad. What more could you ask for?
There's nothing nicer than that fresh basil. And Devin, correct me if I'm wrong, but the more you pinch the basil, the more it comes back, right?
Absolutely. You know, we say, okay, you can harvest it in as little as 30 days, but honestly, you can start harvesting that from day one. And it's so true. The more you harvest it, the more that it will produce, because every time you pinch a little off, you're giving it a little signal to make some more. But this isn't like your average kind of basil. It's actually, it's an award-winning basil, and it won awards for being, it's really a space maximizer. It grows really upright, doesn't get floppy, never falls over, and it has that sweet Italian basil flavor that we all adore.
Now, Devin, we brought in 21,000 of these kits for the season. I have 4,800 remaining. Now, if folks don't have a lot of room and only have containers, talk to us about the best way to work with these.
Yeah, you know, I am a container gardener, and, you know, until now, you could not grow beefsteak tomatoes unless you had a huge garden to grow them in. This is a tomato plant that you plant right in a container, and I don't have much space, so I have to really think, you know, conservatively to maximize all of the plants in my garden. So what I actually do is I will plant 2 or 3 of the tomato plants together in a large 18 to 20 inch container. And these plants will be producing tomatoes that you can eat in as little as 40 days. And we all know beefsteak tomatoes, they have the best texture, that beefiness, but they also have the best flavor. These big leagues, they taste like an heirloom, but while your friends and your neighbors next door are going to be waiting 90 days to eat theirs, you're going to be eating in about 40 days.
Now, Devin, we do want to make one correction, and I had it written correctly on my card, but it was incorrect here on the set. You're not getting 4 tomatoes and 2 basil, you get 3 and 3.
Yes, 3 and 3. I'm going to blame my Uncle Court for that one.
Okay, so it's a situation where you get 3 of the Emerald Tower basil and 3 of the Big League tomatoes. It's 3 and 3. And we started with 21,000. We have 4,200 remaining. I'm thinking about fresh grilled pizza dough.
Oh my
your
gosh.
homemade tomato sauce, big dollops of mozzarella cheese and fresh basil and cracked black pepper and Parmesan cheese. Now that's pizza, my friend.
I'm getting hungry.
Oh, my word. And my granddad would come home. I remember he would come home and at lunchtime, because he owned a storm door and storm window business in the town where he lived and my mom grew up. And when all the kids had left the house, he would come home at lunchtime, and he'd come in the back door, and he'd say to my grandmother, because they had 5 kids, he would say, "Mother, what's for lunch?" And she'd say, "Mater sandwiches, go wash your hands." And he would sit down and have a great big Mater sandwich that was on thick sliced white bread, big slices of beefsteak tomato, big schmear of mayonnaise, and some salt and pepper on that bad boy. Oh, my word.
Like a meal.
And he would grin ear to ear, my granddad, God rest his soul. And he would love those Mater sandwiches. That's just what he called them, a Mater sandwich. So this is what it's all about. Whether you're doing a caprese, I'm thinking bruschetta, where you dice up these tomatoes and you chiffonade the basil. And you use fresh, great olive oil and garlic and all the goodies and toasted baguettes. And you make these great, great salsas or bruschetta. Whatever you're doing, these are the base for our summer foods that we love so much.
Yeah, and, you know, there's no surprise that tomatoes are the most popular veggie for the American gardener to grow. And right now, honestly, growing food has never been more popular or important. But a lot of people, they think, okay, I got to start my tomatoes from seeds. But starting from seeds can be confusing. It takes a lot of work. But we take all of that guesswork out of it. We start the seeds so that you actually will receive plants that are actively growing delivered to your doorstep so that you can enjoy your summer staycation at home with tomatoes about a month earlier than everyone else, because you are grown with Roberta's, the best tomatoes that you can grow in a container on your porch, your patio, your balcony, or also in the ground. They do fantastically right there too.
Now, we started with 21,000 for the season. I have 3,500 left, and you're also going to get your growing guide that comes along with this. And just again, to be clear, 3 of the Big League patio tomatoes and 3 of the Emerald Tower basil. I would pay this price just for the basil. I mean, I love fresh basil so much. And the fact now that you just keep pinching and it keeps giving and keeps growing back. Oh, my word. And the tomatoes are amazing. Devin, we could talk about this all night. Sadly, they don't give us that much time. But it's great to hear your voice, buddy. Glad you're well.
Great to talk to you, David.
And thank you for supplying us with these great, great tomatoes. Remember, you will get a growing guide specific to the basil and the Big League tomatoes, so you cannot make a mistake. And that'll be included with your purchase as well. Devin, a great pleasure to have you with us, buddy.
Thanks, David. I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye. So as we wrap up here, let's remind you that our Flash Easy Pay event, where everything is on 5 or more Easy Pays until end of day today.